Hi everybody, it's Dan and welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're going all out and making a huge rainbow velvet cake. Bursting with chocolate flavor, bursting with bright vibrant color, bursting with frosting, and loaded with rainbow sprinkles from top to bottom. I'll be sure to include the full recipe down below in the description with a link to my blog where I'll share all my tips and tricks so you can make your own 7-layer rainbow velvet cake with confidence. And if you want even more delicious recipes that you can bake up at home, definitely be sure to subscribe down below and click the notification button so you don't miss out every time I post a new video. Now let's go ahead, preheat our oven to 350 degrees, and let's get started with this delicious rainbow velvet cake. So in 1 cup of room temperature buttermilk, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of white vinegar and 4 to 5 drops of food gel color. Then we're just going to take a small spatula or a spoon and really mix that together so that color is fully incorporated into our buttermilk. Let's scoot this mixture to the side, grab a large mixing bowl for all of our dry ingredients, and let's get ready to whisk them all together. Let's start by adding 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of salt. And then we're just going to sift those ingredients right into our mixing bowl to break up any clumps, and we have a nice fluffy dry mixture. Now let's go ahead, set that aside, grab another mixing bowl, and let's start on our next step for our velvet cake. So let's take 1 stick of room temperature butter and cream that with our hand mixer on a nice medium speed until it's almost light and fluffy. Now we'll follow that up with 1.5 cups of white granulated sugar. And we're gonna go back in with our hand mixer and mix that on a medium-low speed until we have a nice crumbly mixture, almost somewhat resembling wet sand. Let's follow that up with 1 whole egg. Mix for a couple seconds on a low speed. Add our next 1 whole egg. Back in with mixing on that same low speed to really incorporate the egg with the butter and the sugar. To top it off, we're going to add in 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract and blend that on a nice low speed with our mixer before we scrape the bowl and bring all of this together by taking 3 tablespoons of sifted cocoa powder and putting that right into our butter mixture. Now we're going to add half of our flour mixture and half of our colored buttermilk mixture right into those ingredients and go in with our hand mixer on a nice low speed and just really begin to incorporate and blend all of these ingredients together before you go in and add in the rest of your buttermilk mixture and the last of your flour mixture. Then as you continue to blend all these delicious ingredients together on that nice low speed with your mixer, you should really start to see that nice vibrant color break through in your batter. Once you're done mixing, go ahead and give that bowl a nice scrape 1 more time. And that is how you make a delicious red velvet cake batter with that nice deep red color, and you can just smell that chocolate flavor. For all the other colors of our rainbow velvet cake, you just want to follow those same steps, those same ingredients. Only thing that's going to change is the color and even the amount of color that you add to your batter. For me, the lighter color is going to require more drops of food gel color. The darker the color, not so much. Either way, you're going to get a nice vibrant color. It's just going to, when you slice into the cake, it's like rainbow magic. You're going to love it. I'm excited. I can't wait. So let's go ahead, grab our prepared cake pans and begin to add in our cake batter just until our cake pan is filled a little bit past the halfway mark. We don't want to overfill our pans because we definitely don't want this cake to bake and droop over the sides and make a mess in our oven. Either way, once your pans are filled with the cake batter, pop in the oven and let bake for a good 35 to 40 minutes or until your cake tester comes out clean. Now, depending on your oven size and what kind of oven you are using, you may or may not be able to pop all your cake pans and bake at the same time. You know your oven. Me, I barely know mine. Sometimes it's nice, sometimes it's not, but I was able to bake all 7 cakes with no issue and they all came out so perfectly. So, you know, if you can fit as many as you want to, definitely go ahead. But if you're not in a rush, why not bake 1 cake at a time and just enjoy that nice velvet chocolate flavor. Once your cakes have baked and cooled and you've leveled and halved or trimmed, depending on the size of your cake, we're gonna be ready to decorate. Now, I went ahead and leveled mine and trimmed them so each layer is about 1 inch tall. It's gonna allow for that extra support when we're stacking on our layers and our buttercream. It's gonna be one delicious, huge cake. So let's go ahead and start with our first velvet layer cake right on our cake board. And to make sure that there's little movement as possible, we're gonna dab our cake turntable and our cake boards with a little splat of buttercream frosting. Then we're gonna take our red velvet cake layer and spread on a generous helping of some vanilla buttercream. Then, sticking with our rainbow colors, we'll follow that up with our orange velvet cake layer. Add some more buttercream, stack with your yellow velvet cake layer, and smooth on that buttercream. Then we'll add our next velvet cake layer, this time green, and continue to smooth on that buttercream frosting. Then we'll add our blue velvet cake layer, followed up with some more buttercream frosting. Then our indigo velvet cake layer, along with more frosting. Again, take your time here, mind the cake wobble. Since we're not gonna have any support beams in the middle, we wanna make sure this cake stays as straight and tall as possible. To top it off, we're gonna add our violet velvet cake layer. Once your velvet cake layers are filled with some delicious frosting, and you're happy with how even and level that stack of cake is, you wanna go ahead and cover with even more delicious frosting. So let's take a long straight spatula and smooth out that buttercream that is bulging out the sides of our cakes before we continue to add on more buttercream frosting for a nice simple coating. And once you're happy with that first thin layer of buttercream frosting, pop your whole cake in the fridge and let set and chill for a quick 5 minutes before coming back and adding more buttercream frosting. Now for this next coating of buttercream frosting, don't worry about it being too perfect or not perfect enough because we're gonna cover this entire cake with sprinkles. So really the goal here is to make sure that we have enough frosting for all of our rainbow sprinkles to really stick onto. Next, we're gonna use a bench scraper to remove the excess frosting. Make sure that the bench scraper is resting flat on the turntable. Place the bench scraper beside the cake and apply gentle pressure while slowly spinning the turntable. Once your cake is covered with more frosting, it's gonna be time to take a step back, grab all of your delicious rainbow sprinkles, and get ready to cover this cake from top to bottom with lots and lots of rainbow sprinkles. Let's start by placing our cake on a cookie tray to catch any fallen sprinkles. The baking tray will contain the sprinkles as you apply them to the cake. It will be easier to apply the sprinkles to an elevated cake, so if you have that cake stand still, rest your cake on that and then set the stand in the baking tray. And then we are just gonna start to pat the sprinkles on by hand from top to bottom. So what I like to do here is to pour the sprinkles into a bowl to really help me apply them to the cake easily. And now I'm starting with at least about 3 to 4 cups of sprinkles because any that are gonna fall off, I'm gonna catch right in my cookie tray and I'm gonna be able to use those to continue to cover my cake. This way, I'm still using sprinkles before I open up another batch. Let's pat a handful of sprinkles onto the base of the cake. And we're gonna use gentle, not firm, pats when doing this. Avoid pressing the sprinkles too deeply into the frosting and just work on the cake layers starting at the base and working upwards. This will really help ensure that your sprinkles are applied evenly. Then we're just going to repeat this process for the middle and upper portions of the cake as well. Now as you continue to cover your cake with sprinkles, You can always use an offset spatula to gently smooth out the layer of sprinkles. This will remove any excess sprinkles that clumped against the icing and could really help reveal spots where the sprinkles did not stick. If there are patches without sprinkles, firmly but carefully press the sprinkles in those missed areas. And just continue to repeat this process around the entire cake until it is evenly covered to your satisfaction. And lastly, to wrap up our rainbow velvet cake, we're going to take a piping bag filled with frosting and fitted with your favorite piping tip, and we're going to pipe dollops of frosting on the outside edge of our cake. Then we're going to give each dollop of frosting its own little cherry. And just like that, 7 cake layers later, a little bit of frosting and lots of rainbow sprinkles, you have your own delicious rainbow velvet cake. When you slice into it, it's just a burst of color, it's a burst of chocolate flavor, it's loads of frosting, and it's even more loads of sprinkles. It's really just a delicious cake. It's all thing velvet, it's all thing rainbow. It's just, it's so good. Well, thank you all for stopping by. I had so much fun showing you how to make your own 7-layer rainbow velvet cake covered in rainbow sprinkles. If you're a fan of velvet cakes or rainbow desserts or just rainbow sprinkles, definitely be sure to give this video a like. It really helps me out, lets me know what baking recipes you all like, you enjoy, and you definitely want to see more of. Of course, if you want even more delicious recipes that you can bake right at home with lots of confidence in your own kitchen, be sure to subscribe down below and turn notifications so you don't miss out every time I post a new delicious recipe. And if you make your own delicious recipes at home, whether it's rainbow desserts or Sailor Moon cakes, anything really, I would love to see it. So definitely give me a tag on Instagram, let me see what you're baking up in your kitchen. Alrighty, well I'm gonna slice into this huge 7-layer velvet cake, enjoy the day, enjoy the weather, maybe let my rainbow pride flag fly. Rainbow pride flag fly. Why is that a tongue twister? Either way, I hope you all get to do the same. And as always, I will see you all in the next video very, very soon. Bye!